Dear law students, here is very interesting discussion about law and justice. These are the two concepts which you have to understand very clearly before understanding any legal issue for that matter in the long run. So what is law and what is justice? Law, you know very well that rules, regulations, statutes, any legislation in the assembly or parliament, acts, etc. Constitutional law, corporate law, company law, criminal law, labor law, etc. All these statutes, any even government orders, rules, constitutional law, these are law. And any legislation that has occurred in the assembly or parliament. And what is justice? Yeah, justice is something good, something fair that is to be done to society. So the law aims at good, aims at something righteous life to the society, to the fellow being. And law should not harm anybody. It should not be detrimental to anybody. When it is not detrimental to anybody, we can say that that is justice. When there is a righteous life, we say that that is justice. And to put it in a nutshell, I would like to say that every man or woman must be given his or her due. What is that due? I would like to tell you so that you can have a very clear understanding about the justice. Suppose you are studying in some institution by paying fee. For your fee, you will receive good education. The teachers will impart very good teaching. Once they impart very good teaching, it means that justice is done. I would like to give you another example that when you are working, an employee or worker, when he is working in some some organization or institution, he will be rendering his service to the organization, and the organization will give a remuneration to him. When that remuneration is good, salary or wages is something good, suitable, then justice is done to that employee or worker. When he is doing a very good service to the organization, it means that justice is done to the organization. For example, the organization squeezing work from that employee worker, and it is not paying, the organization is not paying with good remuneration to that employee or worker, it means justice is not done. Or suppose you are getting very good remuneration, but you are not doing good service to the organization, it means justice is not done. You are not doing justice to that organization. So if you, the employee or worker, has a very good remuneration for his good service, it means justice is done. So totally speaking, to put it in a nutshell, that law, the end of law is justice. That's all we can say. And law is just like a raw material, just like gold or just like milk. Gold is raw material, gold biscuit. From that gold biscuit, we will be preparing jewelry of our need, of our taste. Another one, milk, a raw material, that is just like law. And from that milk, we will be making our own byproduct, that is curd, buttermilk, ghee, etc., etc. That is justice. The result is justice. I would like to give you another example, that is medicine, prescription of medicine. It's just like law. And if that medicine works well, the patient, the result of the medicine to the patient is good, there is a good recovery, then justice is done. Suppose the medicine is not working well, injustice is done. Sometimes, and that is the reason why the great jurists say, law is sometimes unlawful, or sometimes at least unjust, the thinkers said. So in that context, I would like to give you that why and how the law is unlawful or unjust. I would like to give you some illustration. In our country, almost all states, till recently, they have been enacting different acts, different laws, different rules and regulations they are preparing for the welfare of the woman. Woman woman empowerment, we can say. Under this, in the name of woman empowerment, now almost all states in our country are enacting different acts, welfare schemes, women reservation and privileges, financial benefits, educational benefits, apart from this reservation in jobs and education. And recently they are providing these free traveling also, buses. No question of paying amount for ticket. They can travel anywhere without paying ticket. Only woman, not man. Man must pay. So there are the implementation of too many schemes, too many rules, too many acts, beneficial acts for the sake of women, for the empowerment of women. Of course, it's good. There is nothing wrong in it, because both man and woman must be equal in all status, education, employment, and other social status, etc. So the purpose is good, but too much of the problem here is too much implementation of too many provisions, too many privileges, too many schemes will lead to injustice. That Article 14, 16 and 21 will be missing conspicuously. So here law, such type of law sometimes, though not unlawful, it is that such kind of laws are unjust. That is proved. Unjust. That means not correct. Much to the detriment of Article 14, 21 and 16. And the next most important example I would like to say in this context is 498A of APC. See, this provision, this legal provision says that see, if the wife or husband has resorted to any domestic violence, any dowries, etc., that man's husband's parents and brothers, sisters, all family members must be taken to task. They have to come to the police station, also the court, and the investigation must be carried out. That is a provision, but that provision has been much misused, exploited in our country. Thousands and lakhs of cases have been filed in courts of law from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, and many courts, high courts and also Supreme Court. We have taken a very good decision now. See, in the context of this Allahabad High Court, recent, some 3 or 4 months back, Allahabad High Court delivered a wonderful judgment that don't file FIR immediately in the context of this 498R or any domestic violence, whatever it is. Go for a thorough investigation for 1 month or 2 months. Don't bring that husband's father, mother, brother, sister, etc. To the police station or even to the court of law. Just take a good time, a reasonable time for 1 month or even 2 months for that matter, thorough investigation. After thorough investigation, if it is proved that offence has occurred, then file an FIR. Then only you go for this investigation and all these things, the prosecution and all these things. So what is proved here is that sometimes the provisions of law are unjust. When they are unjust, justice will not be done. Same is the case with this article section 497 of APC, adultery. So the provisions have been much misused, exploited, and finally it is proved in 2018, it is proved that this adultery law is not at all a criminal offence. It is only a ground for a divorce. And the story you know very well. What I would like to say in this context is that sometimes the law is maybe unlawful, as said by many jurists, or sometimes it is, though not unlawful, at least it is unjust. When it is unjust, justice cannot be found. This is what I would like to say here in this context by referring to these some 2-3 cases. So the thing to be noted here is that experience is very important here, legal experience. Every case is a very wonderful, exciting experience for the lawyers. Every case will tell us different things, and it will make a wonderful analysis between law and justice. This is what Monroe Monroe Smith says, every case is an experience, exciting experience. And Wendell Holmes, you know very well, Wendell Holmes, the Chief Justice of America, who worked as Chief Justice until his 93 years of age. So until 93 years of his age, he worked as Chief Justice in America, United States of America. He said in a beautiful context in A Path of Law, a wonderful book, he said that experience is the only guide. That's all. Even reason may mislead us sometimes. So we have to rely on, believe in, or depend upon only experience. That's all. And from that experience, we will find law into 2-3 categories, so that we can find justice. So his 3 categories of law are these. Number one, first one is a rote reiteration of earlier rules. That means rules are already made. So what we are doing is rote reiteration. That means same thing we are following, just like rote learning. See, in education, many students will be resorting to this rote learning, not meaningful learning. There are meaningful learning and rote learnings in case of education. Most of the students will be doing rote, not meaningful learning, rote learning. That means just getting by heart or omitting in the examination. In the same way here, rote reiteration, that means following the same thing without having any understanding. And the second category is a flat out misunderstanding of the earlier rules. That means rules are made already, and what we have to do is, we are doing is flat misunderstanding. That means we are not understanding, we are not interpreting the law, rules clearly, blindly we are following. And the third one is a bit of creative function, creative fiction. Generally, this is what our judges will do in the court of law. They will have the creative power, legal creativity. For what purpose? For vestigial solutions, though not permanent solution, at least partial, immediate solution, a suitable solution for that particular case. And that is the reason why Monroe says that every case has a wonderful experience for the lawyers. So generally, the judges will do this kind of creative. They will mix this creative function, creative fiction, and prophecy in order to have a good solution. And the latest cases like adultery law, same-sex marriage, and Sabarimala case, transgender, all these are result of this legal creativity of the judges in the court of law. So in this context, the Chief Justice Wendell Holmes says about one in the long journey of law and justice. It's a very long journey. In that long journey, what Wendell Holmes says is there are good man and bad man. Good man and bad man thesis will be there. Good man thesis is he has the conscience, whereas bad man thesis is this. It's a very different one. Bad man thesis is legal duty is the same for both good man and bad man. That is the bad man thesis. It means that bad man will expect the same legal duty to bad man also. For example, okay, the judge has given judgment, the lawyers are arguing, finally judgment is given. The good man will have, of course, justice, whereas the bad man must also be given justice in a suitable way. For example, theft case or some adultery case, whatever it is. In that context, when the quantum of punishment is awarded, what amount, how much, say for example, imprisonment, how many years, what is the actual quantum of punishment is to be given? Not too much, not very too less, suitable. Suppose fine is to be imposed, how much? 1 or 2,000 or 5,000, depending upon the nature of offence and at the same time nature and position of that particular offender, that person who has resorted to offence. Suppose he is poor, is a bankrupt, how much is to be imposed, how much fine is to be imposed. So these things must be considered, and that is the reason why the bad man thesis says, according to Wendell Holmes, the Chief Justice, legal duty is same for both good man and also bad man, he says. And I told you once again that the prophecy, see, law is not predetermined. It will emerge as and when the occasion demands. It will emerge from the felt necessities of the situation. Because cases are, see, every case has its own characteristic features, different features, and every case is an experience, and every case will give us a different lessons. So, prediction theory he has invented prophecy. So, prophecy plus creative function, creative fiction, they both they are to be combined, juxtaposed, and from that combination emerges the justice will be emerged. And finally, in this context, how what is justice? Finally, I would like to say that justice is a social virtue. It is the virtue, the highest virtue on the earth, and it will be realized where and how, in which situation it will be achieved. The justice will be achieved. The justice can be achieved by maintaining a equilibrium or egalitarianism, as has been propounded by the great legal thinkers like John Rawls and also Dworkin, Ronald Dworkin. So, creativity or creativity of this egalitarianism, egalitarian society, realization of the egalitarian society where equality of opportunities, equality in each and every aspect is to be achieved. Once this egalitarian society is achieved, the justice is done to everybody for that matter. And that is justice, which has emerged from the combination of prophecy, judges of prophecy, and creative function when they deal with law. Thank you very much.